Do you consider yourself, what do you want me to call you? You want me to call you
Mr. Phillips.
Mr. Phillips? Mr. Phillips, do you know what the word unbiased means?
Yes.
Do you consider yourself, when you're coming in here, to be an unbiased witness?
Yes.
So, is it your position that if the defendant committed these crimes, and it's proved beyond a reasonable doubt, that you want to see him convicted?
I was there. I know the defendant didn't commit any
Most
crimes.
is strike, it's non-responsive.
That's not the question he asked you. He asked you a yes or no question. Listen to the question again and answer the question.
Can you rephrase the question, please?
Sure. So what I'm asking you is, I want you to assume for a moment
Yes.
that the evidence in the case demonstrates that the defendant is guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. If that is the case, isn't it true that you don't want to convict him?
Your Honor, I object. Speculation.
Overruled. Overruled.
Well, I can't really answer a hypothetical question.
When you say you can't answer that question, you indicated he's like a brother to you, correct?
Yes.
He gave you your start, correct?
He didn't give me my start, but yes, he is a brother to me.
Well, you indicated he got you out of a bad record label deal, correct?
I never said it was a bad record label deal. I just said he helped me get out my contract.
Was the contract you wanted to get out of?
Only because I felt as though it was...
Most is strike, it's non-responsive.
You want to get out of that contract?
Yes.
And the defendant, who you would agree is a very powerful individual within the industry, helped you get out of it, correct?
Objection. Overruled.
Overruled.
I honestly read a contract book about the music
Most is
business.
strike, it's non-responsive.
You're not answering this question.
Let me take one at a time. Do you agree that the defendant is a very powerful individual within the music industry?
Yes.
Do you agree that he was a powerful individual within the music industry even back in 2021?
Yes.
Do you agree that you have much less power and influence in the music industry?
Yes.
Would you agree that if the defendant wanted to tomorrow, that he has enough power to pretty much end your career if he wanted to?
Judge, reject that question.
What's the ground?
Argument. It's all
Stay.
speculation.
Stay.
Does, given what you've said about the defendant's position and power, if he wanted to, do you believe that he has the ability and power to end your career tomorrow?
Objection, Your Honor. It's the same question.
Well, it is, but it goes to what Mr. Phillips believes, and I think that is relevant to. I think it's a fair question.
No, I don't believe that.
So, as you sit here today, is it your belief, I want you to assume for a moment that the defendant doesn't like your testimony. He decides, you know what, I don't think Mr. Phillips did well on the stand. Wouldn't you agree that if he wanted to, not saying he would, he could make a couple of phone calls, and all of a sudden, you don't have the career that you have right now, correct?
And again, my objection is that.
As phrased, sustained.
Under what grounds, Your Honor, was it? There's no ground.
Or as phrased, it calls for speculation.
I'm asking him what he believes, Your Honor, as it goes to his...
No, your last question did not mention the word believe.
All right, do you believe, Mr. Phillips, that as you sit here today, that if the defendant was unhappy with your testimony, that he has the ability and the power to significantly affect your career going forward?
To be able to accurately answer that question, I would need to apply more information.
What information would you need to apply?
Because me, myself, if that's a hypothetical question, right? But I'm an artist, and I could go by another artist name tomorrow and start over.
Well, you would agree that the defendant, as well as his significant other, Rihanna, are very powerful people within your industry, correct?
Yes.
And wouldn't you agree that if they decide that they wanted to blackball you, you're blackballed tomorrow, correct?
Well, no.
No?
No.
So it's your testimony that no matter what you said today, that even if the defendant and his significant other, Rihanna, were upset with you, they would have no ability to impact your career going forward?
I know because I believe, as I told you before, I'm an artist. I could start a new way of creating tomorrow. I could be a painter. I could go sew and be a designer and still be able to live my life.
All right, he's answered the question. Go on to another topic.
I want to talk for a moment about your statements in court today.
Yes.
Want to approach, Your Honor?
You don't have to ask.
I want you to read to yourself, in the middle of this page, there are 12 bullet points. I want you to read what we have, starting with the following, and right where it says himself. Read that to yourself, let me know when you're done.
So from 1, right here.
No, actually I want you to read where it says the following. Yeah, from 1, I'm sorry. Couldn't see that, that's the 1.
Do I have to say my address out loud?
No, to yourself.
Oh.
You're not reading this out loud. That's why I brought it to you. Are you finished? That has been represented.
Objection is
Sustained.
Mr. Phillips, does what you just read, does that completely encompass everything that you said to the defense during your one interview with them?
objection, Your Honor.
Sustained.
There's no grounds.
The grounds, it's misleading because it's not a sworn statement. It's not a written statement. It is.
That's not a proper rejection.
It is for
All right.
me.
That's 1. Both of you.
You're on their grounds.
All right. Both of you. 177.5. Right. State the grounds.
Misleading.
Sustained. The objection is sustained.
During your interview that you had with the defense, did you mention the 3 incidents involving the prop gun that you testified to today?
I believe so.
Well, when you say you believe so, do you know that you mentioned them or not?
Yes.
Did you see when you reviewed the summary, the explanation of what you said, did you see any mention of those incidents?
Your Honor, objection. Let's say it's misleading. He's asking direct questions. I'm sorry, I don't want to speak. I don't know what to do. It's the same objections before. Reading.
Misleading.
Reading from
On that ground.
Do you understand my question?
Can you rephrase it?
So I've just shown you what's been represented as your statement in this case, and I'm asking you, does it in anywhere mention the 3 incidents you just testified to about the defendant previously having a prop gun?
But
Sorry.
it's not a need.
I'm
This is
objecting. It's not misleading. I'm objecting because it's not.
Read back.
I'm objecting because.
No, I understand. Read back. I might have missed something with the question.
So I just shown you what's been represented as your statement in this case. And I'm asking you, does it anywhere mention the 3 incidents you just testified
I
to?
believe it's a
about the
summary
defendant?
of your statement.
So Your Honor, just a summary, I'm asking you, does it mention anything about those statements? Those incidents? Does it mention anything about the 3 incidents you just testified to in 2018?
On this paperwork, I never seen this paperwork and I never made a statement, so I'm not too sure where this came from, but I advised about the situations that I've known before about the property.
So what I'm asking you is, when you were interviewed by the defense in this case, did you tell them about the 3 incidents in 2018?
Yes, I had to.
And how sure are you that you told them that?
think I'm pretty sure.
Did you tell them about the situation that you testified to involving ASAP Josh?
Can you rephrase that?
Did you tell the defense during your interview with them about the situation with ASAP Josh that you testified to on direct?
The situation as far as him passing away.
As far as any mention of ASAP Josh and the issue with Relly and Rocky, did you mention that to the defense?
I probably didn't. I probably, because I had no.
Motion to strike everything after no.
I wasn't.
You didn't say no. Objection. You didn't say no.
I wasn't involved.
Stop. I was making a note to myself. Read the question.
Question, as far as any mention of ASAP Josh and the issue with Relly and Rocky, did you mention that to the defense? Answer, I probably didn't. I probably, because I had no, in other words.
So is the answer yes, no, I'm not sure?
I'm not sure.
Did you mention during your interview with the defense anything about you yourself having used prop guns in videos?
I'm not sure.
How long was your interview that you had with the defense?
Maybe an hour.
Do you remember when it was?
It was August 2024 in New York.
So you're saying you had no interview with any member of the defense team in this case before, when did you say, what date?
August 2024.
So you were never interviewed by any of them until almost 3 years after the incident?
Correct.
And when they were interviewing you, who was there?
It was Joe, Eleanor, and Chad.
And were they recording it? Do you
No.
remember?
What was the answer?
No.
Did they write notes that you saw?
No notes.
Did they ever talk to you afterward and say, hey, listen, here is your statement. Is it accurate?
Not that I recall, no.
Did they ever even show you what they were representing your statement was?
No.
You would agree that even as we speak now, that the defendant, who you call a brother, that would be a relationship that is much closer than someone who's a business associate, right?
Yes.
It would be much closer than even someone that you would call a close friend, correct?
Yes.
Can you have a closer relationship in your mind than with someone that you refer to as your brother?
Yes, your actual, like your blood brother, that your parents' birth.
But that would be about it, right?
Yeah.
So in terms of friends in the world, this is about as close a friend with a defendant as you have, right?
No.
How many individuals in your life are you as close to who are not family members as the defendant?
Everybody in the ASAP collective.
So you are equally close to everybody in the ASAP collective?
I show no favoritism, yes.
Well, didn't you testify on direct examination that, as an example, once you started traveling with the defendant as his hype man, that you didn't have really, I think your words were time for Relly anymore, correct?
It was time to hang out with Relly. We still maintained a verbal communication.
So is your testimony that you are as close to all the other ASAPs as you are to the defendant?
Yes, that's a fact.
And is that true to this day?
Yes.
Do you travel with any of the other ASAPs on tour?
Yes, I do.
Did any of their ASAPs, have they made it so that you were able to be their hype men?
Times, yes.
So is ASAP Tom's, is he as...
No, I said at times, yes.
Is he as big as...
No, at times.
He's saying at times.
Oh, at times, I'm sorry. So when you're saying at times, you would agree that the defendant, he's the only person that you traveled across the world with, correct? Of the ASAPs, where it's on his dime.
That is not true.
In terms of your work right now, in terms of what you're doing, you said you don't have a business relationship with him, but how often do you see and talk to him?
So since he had his kid, probably like once or twice a month, and he's always traveling, so I don't get to see him that much.
Do you text with him still frequently?
Not really. Last text I sent was like on Yams Day.
You would call yourself a performer, is that correct?
Yes.
Do you do any acting as well?
No.
But you mentioned before that part of your job that you indicate as a hype man is you want to get the crowd going, is that right?
Well, for anybody that's a hype man, that's a part of the job description.
Right, so what that kind of means is that means looking at your audience and trying to figure out how you can get them excited or motivated, is that right?
Well, I wouldn't say motivated, and they're already excited because they're at the show. It's just more or less have them.
Don't sit so close to the mic.
Okay. It's more or less have them feel like they're a part of the show.
And in saying that they're a part of the show,
Yes.
you have to sit there and you have to kind of figure out, as a performer, hey, I'm up here, and how do I connect with my audience, whoever that is, right?
In a sense, yes.
As you sit here today, are you doing the same thing with the jury?
No.
You were asked questions by Mr. Tapafina on direct examination. Are you aware that approximately 8 or 9 different times when you were not asked, you mentioned gratuitously that Relly was either a large man or very muscled or big? Are you aware that you did that?
Objection,
Sustained.
What was he saying?
Sustained. Argumentative. Sustained.
Why did you, Mr. Phillips, repeatedly mention that Relly was a large, muscular man when you weren't asked?
Objection, are you? Same objection.
Well, the word repeatedly is argumentative.
Are you aware, Mr. Phillips, that during your direct examination, that you mentioned several times that Relly was a larger, muscular man?
Yes.
Are you aware that when you mentioned those comments, those were not in response to questions that called for that answer?
Objection, argument.
Over.
I was basically just giving a description of Relly. That was all I was doing.
When you were asked those questions, Mr. Phillips, would you agree that when you were giving that answer, you weren't being asked to give a description of Relly, you just added it? Would you agree?
I was adding a fact.
I'm sorry?
I was adding a fact.
So you were adding a fact that you wanted to make sure the jury knew, but it wasn't a question that you were asked. Is that correct?
Objection, argument.
Sustained.
Why, if you were not asked a direct question to describe what size Relly was, were you telling the jury he's a large man, he's muscular? Why did you do that?
Again, Your Honor,
Overruled. Overruled.
Basically, I was describing a friend of mine that I used to work out with, and I was giving that detail just to let y'all know why I couldn't fight him. You know what I'm saying? Why I couldn't pull him back at anything, because he's stronger than me.
Did you end up providing that information several points during your direct examination when you weren't being asked anything about why you didn't fight?
Your Honor, that's argumentative objection.
He hasn't finished the question.
Oh, I thought you did, sorry.
Did you finish the question?
I did.
Argumentative objection.
Right. Read the question back then.
Did you end up providing that information several points during your direct examination when you weren't being asked anything about why you didn't fight?
Can you replay the question?
Oh, she just, okay.
No, so I could answer you.
I'll just have the court reporter read it back so that we don't have any issues.
Okay. Kathy's going to read the question.
Okay, no problem.
Question, did information at several points during your direct examination when you weren't being asked anything about why you didn't fight.
I stated earlier when I got on here that I had an inguinal hernia surgery and I couldn't fight.
Motion to strike,
Well,
non-responsive.
the question is really confusing. Let's take a break now, folks. Please be out.